Hi and welcome to another Tabitha's Glass Emporium YouTube video. On the Fused Glass Digital Resources Facebook page, it's jury this month and we've had a crazy busy month here, but I wanted to do you one little quick video just to get something out there for that month's topic. And I thought about these. These are something I've been making for a couple of years now. They are using dichroic glass and then Murrine on top. They're inspired by a woman who makes very, very beautiful ones out there. And this is my interpretation of them. They're nothing as good as hers, but they're, you know, they're a kind of easy cheat of how you can make something that's like hers. So how I do this is I take a piece of dichroic glass, and this isn't cut to the shape. I always cold work my stuff, guys. I'm just going to show you. These are some samples I tried out yesterday, and they come out the kiln like this. And I will always cut these down and make them neat. So I'm not necessarily so worried about the shape of the bottom piece of glass, except for the fact that I'm going to waste dichroic, which is expensive glass. But if you are not going to cold work, then you need to make sure everything is cut much kind of neater and better. So yeah, I take a piece of dichroic glass. Now I'm lucky I have a silhouette camion that cuts me templates and different things. And I'm going to sell these, if people want to buy them, for €1 a thing, which is, you know, it's not cheap, but also it's quite a lot of work for us. So literally I pull it off the backing, put it on here, and then using tweezers from the bottom, I'm just going to weed out the tree, and there you go, you've got a nice tree. When I did these ones yesterday, I used a tree silhouette that didn't have quite as many branches, and I didn't like the outcome. I kind of preferred the outcome here where you can see a bit more branches, so we're trying something slightly different today. So I've got a few here of various different colours that I'm going to give it a go on, and so after this then you need to put on etch, because the idea is we're etching out the dichroic to get rid of that, and then you'll just get the black, because these are all back dichroic on black glass, and then you'll just have the black instead. So I'm going to get my etch and show you how to do that. So this is the etch I'm using. This I just buy on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon America or Amazon England. If you have a sandblaster, of course you can just sandblast, but I might sandblast the rest, but this one I'm just going to show. So I just put the etch, I make sure that the sticker is really well stuck down first, and then yeah, just putting the etch on and leaving it on for a period of time. Now different glasses will take different lengths of time, so I'm not going to say leave it on for 5 minutes, leave it on for 3 minutes, leave it on for 2 minutes. You're going to need to check. So once you sort of left it on, you leave it sitting there for a few minutes, and then with a bit of, you know, toilet paper or a rag, you know, push a bit aside. Are you seeing black or are you still doing dichroic? It will kind of go through a few layers of dichroic. So like this one, I noticed it went to a sort of yellow colour first, and actually you can see at the bottom here, it's a sort of yellowy goldy colour before it went to the black. And then actually I painted on some more etch afterwards, which is always an option. You could use a paintbrush and paint your etch on and paint your tree on if you don't want to, you know, mess around with silhouettes and you've got a good kind of painter's hand and a good painter's eye. So that's another way of doing it, is just to sort of paint this on. So I'm going to leave this on for a little bit, and then I will wash it off. I'm going to sandblast these, and then you'll be able to see the difference between sandblasting and painting. So here they are, these two. So once I've got I've kind of, it's been on for a while, I use a bit of tissue and sort of pull back and see if it's getting black, and if it is, then it's good. And then I leave the stencil, the sticker on while I wash it off. And then once it's all washed and clean, then I can remove the sticker. And then it looks like this. So you can see that all of this was put on at the same time. And these we've cleaned, and you know, we're starting filming, and they're all good. This one, which is this silver, which goes as this crinkly silver, is still needing to be longer with the etch on. So some glass takes longer than others. This one I sandblasted, so you can kind of see the sandblasted look. And then this one we also etched. in a way I kind of prefer the etched look. I think it's nice, but I was interested with this, again, slightly crinkly glass, how it would be. It's probably easier with the sandblasting with the crinkly glass. Up. So then these stickers are coming off. So the sort of next thing I want to think about is to what colour Murrine to use with the glass, and it's sort of thinking about kind of complementary Murrine. Now I just want to kind of show this one. This one had a clear area in the middle, so the Murrine actually had a transparent area in the middle, and you can then actually see the kind of Dichroic coming through, which is really pretty. So that's a kind of nice option if you want to use a sort of transparent. You've got the sort of same here actually, where you've got pink glass, but the Murrine has a sort of blue tint in it, but you can see the Dichroic coming through. So I think that's a really pretty option that we'll try on at least one of them. And it's sort of complementary Murrine that goes with the glass. There's a blue Murrine with the blue glass. So we're going to have a look at that. I mean, having a look at our colour choices here for our samples we did, I think this was too dark. This is the same glass, and I'm going to go with something much lighter this time, so that the tree stands out against the backdrop. This I like, but I might try and go with a bluey with some turquoise in it, so you can see through to this crinkly glass below. And I haven't gone with this glass again, I've gone with these two, and I'll have a think what to do. I think I might have something with a 1408 aqua blue hole in the middle, and just sort of choose a bit of that. There's some vortex with that, which I think could look really cool there. So I'm going to choose some glass options, and we're going to have a look at how it looks. So here these are already etched and cleaned up. I had a boo-boo and I dropped this one, so I've now super glued it to the back of another piece of glass. I think it's going to pull apart as it fuses, and it's not going to look good, but we'll put it in the kiln and see. So now it's to put the Murrine on. Now I'm using super glue, and it will, because once the Murrine are in place, I take a piece of the top glass and I kind of draw a line where the Murrine are, and then I cut this out because I don't want to cap the whole piece with this glass, because we'll get air bubbles and you could end up with bubbles and it may not look good. And yes, you get, as you can see on these, the kind of Dichroic coming up in this area, but I quite like that. It's an effect I'm sort of looking for. You get this 3D effect, which is good. So now I'm going to kind of think about putting Murrine on. I've chosen, let's look at this one, and I've sort of chosen Murrine like this for these. And what I like about them is this is our oval C, and these ones happen to have a bit of transparent in the middle, which will again show the Dichroic through. And as I said, I'm just going to use the super glue. I'm probably actually going to first of all lay them all out how I want them, and then you can kind of just drip super glue in between. You want to get quite a good covering, sort of. Okay, so you can see not such a great covering and lots of Dichroic coming up and pushing the glass out of the way. A better covering and sort of less Dichroic. So it really depends on the kind of look you want. If you want a kind of area like with this, where you've got kind of Dichroic coming up in areas, you can leave those areas clear and use it as a feature. And then if you don't like that effect, pack them as tightly as together as you want. You could also put, once you super glued, you could put some clear transparent frit in the holes, and then you would end up with no Dichroic coming up. But it's a preference of taste of how you like it. I like a bit of Dichroic coming up because I think it sort of adds to the sort of 3D feeling of the piece. So now those are sort of in place how I want them. I'm just going to drip some sort of super glue around. Now there are various different things about people who feel, I've had people go, oh, super glue has horrible burn off when you're fusing in the kiln and it's not good for you. And I've known very, very reputable people who use it all the time. The only thing I will say is buy cheap. You want to be buying the stuff from the pound store where you get 10 of these for £1, or like the equivalent in the States. Don't buy the expensive super glue. It doesn't burn off as well. You want to buy cheap when it comes to super glue for fusing. So that is now, I have a total habit of super gluing my fingers together whenever I use super glue. I personally hate using the stuff because I don't particularly like the smell. and because I always end up super gluing my fingers together. So I'm going to leave that to really sort of finish doing it super gluing before I touch it. I can see that that one has got super glue on it, and I'm going to have to pick it up and it's going to get stuck to me. All right, there we go. And then I'm going to do exactly to the rest, and then I'll show you the next step. So here they are all super glued on, and I've cut some Tekta to the size of the top. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, with a Sharpie, draw round where the Murrine are. And actually what I can do is that's the bottom one of that, and I can probably get this one out as well of the same piece. So I can, and then I'll cut those on the Taurus tool. Now if you don't have a Taurus tool, you could just cut a piece of glass straight across. You're going to get a bit of kind of thing, you know, a bit more dichroic coming up at the edge where it doesn't join, and keep a straighter line like this one is. But if you have a Taurus saw, this is the way I do it, is I just, you know, draw around, put some Vaseline on, and my finger's trying to stick to the table. There's obviously super glue there. I hate it, it always sticks. Yeah, just draw around, put a bit of Vaseline on, and then get your line. My Sharpie's not working properly. Other thing to note, so this is one of the reasons why I cold work this stuff, is because you've got 2mm bottom glass, 3mm on top, which is only 5mm. I'm not sure whether all of you know, Bullseye glass, full fusing, you want to keep it the same size, you need 6mm or close enough. Otherwise you get something called dog boning, where it comes up at the edges. So this project isn't quite, this one will be, and this will actually spill out and get bigger. But the rest of them are, you know, as you can see here, they are coming in at the top, which is why I will, for myself, when I do this, I will take off the edges and cold work them and then fire polish them to a kind of nice shape. You know, personally, I believe in cold working stuff. I think it makes your jewellery from a difference between something that's, you know, a hobbyist to something that's a professional and being sold. But you have to have the equipment, and that's always not possible for space, for time, for money, for all sorts of reasons. So, you know, there are options. You know, don't get me wrong, I still think that's really cute. And I cut this really badly, this top bit of glass, because I was doing it in a hurry and it didn't fit. So if you're kind of much more accurate with your glass cutting, and it didn't have this bulge of texture at the bottom, it'd still be a really cute piece, and you have kind of more branches coming up. So you don't have to cold work, but it's just my opinion. So I'm going to cut these pieces of Tekta to fit the bottoms, and then we'll see how it looks. So as you can see, we've cut these to the sizes that we need to fit in here. Now all I would say is, if you can't do this, and you just have to sort of keep it straight and you want it straight across, then you might want to think of adding a few Murrine on top of the glass, just to soften the edge. On this one I did it straight, and I did add a couple of Murrine on top to sort of soften it, and I think I did on here as well. But that's up to you. You could put some. I'm not going to, because I've sort of cut them pretty well to the size. You know, I'm going to get a few bits of the back layer coming up here, but I don't mind that. It sort of adds to the 3D effect. Now you can see on these ones I put a little bit of something in the foreground, which is something you could also do if you wanted. I'm not sure. I've decided to, on these ones, leave it and leave them as is, and we'll see how they are. So these will now go on in the kiln. They're going to go on a full fuse, and we'll have a look at them when they come out. So here they are out of the kiln. As you can see, some of them have gone quite blobby because there was quite a lot of glass in this one, because we had the 3 layers, whereas this one's actually pulled up quite a lot at the edges. I'm now going to think about what I want to cut off to make them nice and neat. So I'm going to do that and cut the edges off and maybe grind them a little bit, and then I'll show you how they will be before I put them back in the kiln to go on a fire polish. Here are 6 of them cold worked, and I've done the edges, and I've sort of rounded the corners because that's how I like. I've left one that I haven't cold worked to show you that if you don't have the cold working equipment, you can still make a lovely piece. It's really hard to see the depth in these on camera. It is always a problem when you're filming projects like this, but it really does have a totally beautiful 3D kind of dimension with the trunk and this background looking below the trees and leaves above. But it's pretty hard for me to be able to film it and show it. So I'm going to put these in now on a fire polish, and we can see how they look when they come out. So here they are, all out of the kiln when I've attached their bales. I love these. I think they're such a simple little jewellery, but I think they're beautiful, and they all come out so differently, so this was something for everyone. I mean, if I just put these two together, which are both the same glass, I love this. This is a winter thing, and anyone kind of getting stuff ready for Christmas, I think these could be a kind of a beautiful seller. It's the depth of them which is so hard to see on the camera, but take my word for it, they look beautiful. But there's so many different dichroic glasses out there, so many different combinations. If you didn't want to use Murrine, you could use frit or just use pieces of glass. So there's lots of different ways to do this without the Murrine if you wanted to. And these darker ones are not everyone's taste, but I mean this one down here is Sandra's favourite. I'm just going to try and tilt it forward a bit to see if you can get the depth, but it's beautiful because I put these couple of pieces in the foreground. It really has kind of fantastic depth in the middle of the piece, which is beautiful, which I think works quite well, but it's quite hard to know how they're going to turn out until you fuse them together. So I've definitely got favourites and ones that I don't think that worked out so well, but you know, you can always sort of add things. So okay, this one I don't think is, you know, necessarily brilliant, but I could have refired it with a couple more pieces in the front to add and lift something extra to it. I was actually wondering with this one whether to tack fuse some other Murrine on top to give it a kind of 3D texture. So that's also an option. You can do this layer and then you could tack fuse things. Again, this one doesn't have maybe so much interest in the Murrine. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll just cut some small mini Murrine and tack fuse them on the top of those two. We've got a market going on in a kind of week or so, and we're going to be selling things quite cheaply, and I just wanted some things that I had sort of quickly made and didn't make too much fuss over, so it hadn't taken me a lot of time. And I don't think these do. You know, these 7 pieces probably took me, I don't know, an hour or so in man time, so it wasn't much at all. So I hope you really like this and this inspires you to make some of your own. And if you've liked this video, please subscribe.